We're about to, yeah, this is live. Yeah, so I, everyone, yeah, I Damilola, Adeniyi, Jeremiah. I mean, it's so good to have all these big men. Yeah, right. So, I mean, I don't want to say I count it as an honor, but I count it all joy to be moderating this session, right, with you all. Right, and I'm so excited to have you here. Yeah, so I am Victoria Alabi. I'm an SEO specialist. Even though I know that the people here, they are my ogas. Right. I'm an SEO specialist, right?
Hi everyone. So sorry about that delay. Hi Damilola, hi Jeremiah, hi Adeniyi. Glad to have everyone on board once again. Thank you so much for making out the time, and it's a privilege to be able to have the opportunity to chat to us. Can you just please confirm you can hear me clearly by omitting my speaking back? Okay, I see
Yes,
Adeniyi
can hear you clearly.
Awesome then. Awesome. So we are here to talk about SEO, and this is something that you do on the daily. This is what you do on like every 24/7. I'm privileged to have had interactions with everyone, and I know for a fact that we have solid people within the whole within the speaker network. One of the things that we're looking out for when we decided to go ahead to select speakers for this particular webinar, we're looking for seasoned experts who have been there and done that, who have been able to explore multiple things across multiple industries, and also this is not their first rodeo, right? We're looking for people that have been able to execute different SEO directions across multiple companies, and everyone here fits that bill, and it's an opportunity. It's a very good opportunity that we are here. We are here together to be able to have the conversation. I'll just quickly confirm if Victoria is currently back on board, so I can hand over the session to her. But all right, hi Victoria, welcome back. Thanks for joining us back.
Yeah,
you can unmute your mic and continue then.
Hi, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, you can.
Okay. You can hear me, right?
Yes. Okay, so while we confirm that, I think we can just go through the introductions, and I would introduce myself, and I would love our speakers also to introduce themselves, and then we can basically get right into it. So I'm Adeniyi Adegboye, known as GrowthHackers. I'm the co-organizer or community organizer for GrowthHackers Africa, a community of stage and growth stage growth operators who are delivering key business results across the companies they work with. And on this call, we have Damilola, we have Adeniyi, and we have Jeremiah. They are all SEO experts, and while we share your bios, I would want you to be able to I'll do a brief workshop of your bios, and also as we do that, if there's any specific thing you like to add, you can feel free to do that. You can feel free to just add. So for your bios, Damilola, I will be going first with Dami. Yeah, so Damilola is a good marketing professional with over 6 years of experience driving organic traffic growth and boosting visibility for multi-million-dollar brands. He has a track record of ranking top apps like Food Court, Wakanow, M Audition, Coinwa, and Payday within the top 1 to 3 apps and positions in the app stores. And outside of work, Dami is also a gamer and a travel enthusiast. Even from your appearance, you give give the vibe of someone that is on the always on the move, right? Exploring new destinations and staying energized by fresh experience. And currently, Dami is the SEO specialist at African Leadership University, one of the top most innovative universities in Africa, who are using new approaches to basically drive learnings and key learning outcomes for students. And it's even very curious that they have an SEO expert. I think it will be a very good conversation point to, explore that. I'm not quite sure I've seen many universities that actually are like an SEO specialist within their workforce. So we are glad to have you, Dami. Anything you want to, let us know aside what we have listed here?
Well, you've really done a lot. Like this description, man. There's nothing I'm adding to that. Thank you for having me. That was great. Thanks.
All right, awesome, Ben. Thank you, Dami. So I'm going to go back to Adeniyi next. So Adeniyi, I'm waiting on my presenter. Thank you very much. Adeniyi Adegboye is an SEO specialist. It's over 7. I think when I was reading you guys' bio, doesn't need to put it in. I was like, I was in 6 years, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years. I was like, okay, like people out there probably feel maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago, SEO was not necessarily like gaining ground 5 to 7 years ago. But to see like you guys actually like starting out about 6, 7 years ago, that's actually very impressive. I'm sure like when you're starting out there, probably not a lot of educational content around SEO. And to see how you have been able to like build out that career shows how resilient you guys are, and shows how like you're able to pick up knowledge even with the depth of knowledge that probably was available then. So let me just introduce that Adeniyi. Adegboye Adeniyi is an SEO specialist with over 7 years of experience in growth marketing and data analytics. He specializes in technical SEO, eCommerce, SEO, international SEO, and content marketing, with a proven track record of driving growth for B2B and e-commerce business. Adegboye excels in managing SEO budgets, roadmaps, and constructional collaborations, delivering impactful results. Passionate about creative strategies, he helps brands craft compelling stories and achieve lasting organic growth. I think it's also a privilege to have Adeniyi Adegboye on here with us. And I think something peculiar about your profile that I see is the fact that you actually manage SEO budget. I think that's an interesting one, because most people actually do not think that there are budgets dedicated for SEO. So it's good to learn from your profile that they're actually like budget dedicated to SEO. Hi, Ni. Do you have anything to say and anything to add to what we have mentioned?
Not really. Thank you so much for the introduction, and hopefully during the course of the discussion, I'll be able to share more light on all of these things that was spoken about.
Yeah, awesome. I think that will be very, very much interesting learning point. I'm sure our listeners and our audience would definitely want to get into the thick of that. So over to our final speaker for today. That's Jeremiah Ajayi. Hi, Jeremiah. Can you hear us? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so Jeremiah Ajayi is content marketing manager at Remote Pass, an HR and payroll platform for global and local teams. Once again, another 6 years experience veteran on board. So with over 6 years experience in creating high performance content that drives business growth, his work has been featured in African FinTech Summit, Buffer, Hackathon, Product Lab, Trove, Venture Africa, and amongst others. And his notable achievements include generating 19 search impressions, 1.8 million users, and a 97 week-on-week increase in organic traffic, and $70,000 in sales in deals for previous employers and clients like Steers, Reich. I hope I got the pronunciation of Reich well. Piggyvest, Sion, Neom, and Notzone. Jeremiah also hosts the Investor Corner, an interview series on African investment landscape, and has authored a lazy person's guide to crushing online courses, and co-authored Nigerian FinTech Marketing Outlook. Jeremiah, for someone who has done this much of work and someone who has like this amount of experience and this amount of results, it's a bit interesting that you're publishing a book on lazy person's guide. I don't think you're lazy, so I'm wondering where that is coming from exactly. Anyways, I'm sure you definitely speak more on that. Additionally, he holds 50+ certifications in communication, marketing, HR, and finance domains from institutions like the University of London, HLCI, CXL, and HubSpot. Once again, nice to meet you. Nice to have you here, Jeremiah. Is there anything we have missed or anything you would like to add to this?
No, it's fine.
All right, awesome. Victoria, you have the floor. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm with the big men, right? Okay, yeah. So it's time for questions. I mean, it's time for, we are about to get into the interactive section, right? And yeah, the first question goes to Damilola, right? With your experience at Wakanao, right? I mean, so my question is this: how do you think that growth marketers, right, can balance high quality content with the ever evolving landscape and the way Google constantly push out their algorithm? I think they released an algorithm a couple of days or weeks back. So how do you think that growth marketers can align their content such that when there's an update, the website don't get hit, you don't see a website with 1 million traffic going down to about 0? Yeah, please, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Once again, it's nice to be here. Okay, so how can growth managers balance quality content with algorithm requirements? That's a bit tricky, you know. So balancing quality content with algorithm, it's required a dual focused approach, right? So you need to prioritize user intent while meeting technical optimization standards. So I would like to give an example. As a matter of fact, for every question that I want to answer, I want to give you a practical example, you know, using a website I've worked on, so that this conversation is going to be like a kind of conversation where you can easily pick something to go apply on your own website. So first of all, I would mention like a few impactful algorithm requirements, just a few of them. Let's say maybe like 5 to 6. So number one, relevance and intent matching. That's experience or authoritativeness and trustworthiness. I do want to start explaining each of these things one by one because this is an advanced SEO class. So I want to believe I'm not speaking to people that don't understand things like relevance and intent matching. So number 3, core web vitals. Number 4, mobile first indexing, high quality backlinks, engagement metrics like dwell time and click-through rates, freshness and content updates, structured data. You know, those are the kind of algorithm requirement that we are talking about. So to answer your question, right, using a travel company website that I worked on as an example, so how a growth manager can typically balance good content with the algorithm. So I could remember we tried to develop like this particular content around destination guides, right? Something that is rich in storytelling and visuals and the likes. And yeah, we created that content. The content was rich and engaging, right? Packed with insider tips, cultural anecdotes, you know. But the major thing that we tried to do to make sure that, okay, it fits into what the algorithm was, what we tried to align with Google's algorithm expectations by doing 3 major things. Number 1, semantic SEO. So we mapped out topic clusters, you know, to rank for both broad and niche queries, right? I like the LSI keywords, ensuring the content was as discoverable like a lost wallet, you know, in a well-lit room. The second thing is on-page optimization, right? We make sure we added schema markup for each content. Every image had descriptive alt text, and meta tags were treated like, you know, punchlines, short, sharp, and impactful. Then also content freshness, which is like one of the most important things that a lot of people don't pay attention to. So we try to update those posts with new attractions, seasonal tips, just trying to signal to both users and search engine that we know what we are doing, and we are actually very updated. And guess what? Just by doing these 3 things with a very good content, it gave a result of like I think we got like 40% increase in organic traffic over 6 months. And we also saw that our users spend more time on the page. And this basically demonstrates that marrying creativity with algorithm demands can drive measurable results. So I think my key takeaway from this is going to be that you don't have to choose between creativity and optimization. You don't have to choose between good content and algorithm updates. It's they say in a collabo, so it's a partnership, right? So
Yeah.
with search engines like that, grumpy teacher in school, impress them with structure, but wow them with your flair. So basically, you don't have to pick between creativity and optimization. Thank you.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, so there's this thing around EEAT that I saw, right, a while ago. Right. So the guy is an SEO specialist, of course. So he recommended that for sites with multiple authors, right, they go create an author page where they embed a link to any of their social media platform, right? So what's your perspective about that?
That's actually not bad.
Do you think
so?
it
What you are
works?
just trying to do with? What do you say?
I said, what do you think about that? Do you think that helps?
So yeah, I said that is not bad, right? What you are trying to do with EAT is you are trying to show authority, right, and expertise. So apart from the other things you need to do to the content itself, the auto bio is very, very important. And even going extra miles as adding a link to your social media page just to show Google that, bro, I'm an authority in this space, right? Like I'm so good at what I do that I even have a platform where I speak about it. It's actually not bad. It's a good thing. But beyond creating auto bio and all of that, you also know that you need to cite relevant content in whatever you're writing. You need to put out the right data. You need to reference those data and all of that. Those are part of things that helps with EAT.
Yeah, thank you so much. Right. I mean, you've given a better approach to how to the question. Yeah, I don't know if Mr. Adegboye has something else to add.
No, I think that was spot on. That actually answered the way you should approach it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, how about you, Jeremiah? Please, do you have what you would love to add to what Damilola said? Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, over to you, Adegboye. Right. You know that in technical SEO, if you actually don't know the right approach, right, there's a tendency that you'll be faced with a lot of, I don't want to say jabs, right, like a lot of that you don't know where to come in, right? So what technical SEO practices, right, do you consider essential for websites that are targeting a global audience?
Okay. That's actually very interesting. And I think when you're targeting a global audience, there are a lot of things you need to put into consideration, right? And that is where people miss it, especially when they want to rank in multiple countries. So there was a discussion I had with someone some few days ago. So even though this guy was ranking very well in the UK, he was ranking very well in the US, but he still wanted to capture the UK market, right? And he was not interested in creating a new website and stuff like that. And I told him that it's quite possible for you to also rank, but you might find yourself struggling to do perfectly well, right? So when you are thinking international strategy, I think three core things that is very important for you to take note of. Number one is the hreflang implementation, right? So the hreflang implementation simply tells Google what version of your website is appropriate for a particular country, right? And this is also very important. Maybe when you have a product that is used across, let's say you have an e-commerce website and you are selling the same product and you ship in multiple countries. The hreflang tells Google which page to save for each country that you are interested in. So hreflang is something that I've seen a lot of people not do very well, and that is like the most important thing that you need to consider when you are thinking about globalization. The other secondary thing you also need to consider is the content localization. So even though you might think that people search the same way, but you might be surprised that in some certain instances, right, you find out that
Yeah.
the phrases people use might vary from one country to the other. So let's say you are talking about, use two very simple example, right? Auto and cars. In some countries, you see people say auto. In some countries, we see people use the phrase car, right? So that simple difference in the word people use in those countries might actually be a big deal. So content localization is very important. If you are thinking about uh, ranking or globalization, you also have to make sure that the content you are producing is localized to those places. So is it in terms of language? And don't use auto translators, right? I know that may be very easy for people. You might think that with Google Auto Translate, you can translate thousands of pages very fast, when you have a very big website. But seriously, don't do that, because that might get you started. But sometimes translation, the way people speak, the words people use, the phrases they use also matters. When Google Auto Translate and when a local person translates, there's a very big difference, and you can feel that in the way those words are written. So I think those two things are very powerful, and that's where a lot of people miss it, right? They miss the href-lang implementation. They miss making sure that the content is localized to that country. They also miss out in that part. So those are very two key factors that if you are thinking of globalization, you should consider implementing for your website.
Okay. Yeah, can you hear me?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. But then, yeah, I have another question, right, relating to HR plans and HR plans, right? Now, you know that there are some websites, right, that they have multi versions of the site, right? You see the English version, you see the German version, you see the yeah. So how does HR flangs come to play in this kind of scenario?
Okay, so the href-lang comes to play because I'm not talking about the code right now, so I'm just trying to explain it. So the href-lang tells Google which version of your page to serve for a particular audience, right? So let's take, for example, Kenya, which is just right there across us, Nigeria here. Let's take Kenya, for example. In Kenya, you can have two languages, the English and the Swahili, right? So you can by implementing the href-lang, you actually tell Google that based on this person's location, this is the right page to show for that person. So href-lang allows you to do that, and it allows Google to serve the right page. Because the challenge with not implementing href-lang is Google may decide to show any page to the person, right? So somebody is interested in the Swahili language, Google might decide to show the English version to that person, and that causes confusion. Then the person needs to probably use the browser auto translate, and it might even go. The translation may not be perfect, which also means that the person might get lost, and that is a traffic and a conversion drop for you. So href-lang avoids all those issues by telling Google, this is the specific version of my website that I want you to show to this person based on the person's location, based on the person's language preference, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's more like I mean it's as this I don't want to say synonym with canonical URL. Like you deciding that okay, canonical like you placing the canonical tag and telling okay this is the preferred version. But in this use
Exactly.
case, right, is
Yes,
yeah.
it's for international. Yes, it's for language. It's for international purpose. But it also serves like almost the same thing. Where you are trying, in Canonical, you are telling Google this is the right version of the page. Also, the same thing in href-lang. You are telling Google based on this person's location, based on this person's language preference, this is the page to show to that person. So you are spot on.
Thank you so much. Right, thank you. So, Damilola, I don't know if you have I mean you would love to add to what Adeniyi has said.
So I think, yeah, Adeni, thank you for that. Adeni actually did a good job there. So, but I just want to mention something. You asked a follow-up question that if you are in France, um, they speak French there and all of that. So, like Adeni responded, right? The other thing which is the code part, all you just need to do is to add the language in the code part, right? In the code part,
Okay.
apart from having the country code there, you also had the language code. So if it's for French, you had FR. If it's for Spanish, you had ES and all of that. Then about you using a canonical, you're correct, but then you are also trying to speak to alternate. You are trying to tell Google that this is an alternate of this website. So instead of using this for canonical, the reason why I'm mentioning the canonical is because, so let's take, for example, if you have so that some kind of website that I worked on a very, very funny website recently where everything is hosted here in Nigeria, right? The only thing they did for other countries just that they bought domains, right? So they are using just one backend for all countries.
Oh.
So what that means is that if you set canonical, right? If you set canonical for Nigeria, for example, with your HF flag, you are simply telling Google that every other country reference just Nigeria.
Doesn't matter.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is where the alternate comes in, right? So you are just trying to tell Google that, okay, there's an alternate to it. That's why you're adding the whole alternate and everything to it. I just hope that makes sense.
Yeah, international SEO is a very complex game that if you are not careful, a lot of people miss it, right? Because there are different ways you can, like that scenario you painted. I see it happening a lot where people just have the same website and then they just want to, it can get very messy and complex if you are not very careful. So it's and that's why some people decide to just separate it. They have different versions for different countries. But the challenge with even having different versions for different countries is that even when you're not careful, Google will still serve what it thinks is the best version. So that is where the href line comes in, where you have to tell Google that for this particular country or maybe for this particular location, this is the version that I want. And you have to add it to all the versions of the website you have, even if you have 20 countries or 20 country-specific domain directory that you have.
Thank you so much. That was a good one. Right. Over to you, Jeremiah. Right. So now, what are the common pitfalls, right, that marketers face when trying to align content marketing with SEO goals?
All right. Thanks for that question, Victoria. So I think first off, even this question is a mistake. Teams make, and what is it? I think we kind of think of them as two separate strategies, right? I mean, forget that SEO at the end of the day is a distribution channel. That's it. SEO at the end of the day is a distribution channel, right? And remember, content marketing, right, is you literally like creating, managing, and distributing content, right? It's not just like creating of content. You're ensuring that that content is amplified well enough to the point where your prospects, who then become MQLs and SQLs, right, they get to see and get to get converted, right? Now, one of the channels you can do this is through search, organic search, which is where SEO comes in. So SEO helps you get your content at that visibility without you having to like use paid ads, right? To champion that content online. So you get organic visibility, right, via search. That's the purpose of SEO. So I think one of the mistakes I see which is foundational, is the fact that a lot of like marketers come into execution with SEO is like this separate, mystical like strategy. But at the end of the day, it's just like an area through which you're distributing like content to ensure that it gets amplified on organic search. So people can easily like see your content when they search for related keywords to your content, right? So that's one mistake I see, which is like fundamental. Another mistake I see is also treating SEO as an afterthought. Content marketing as an afterthought, and I explain what I mean. So for a lot, right, when trying to execute SEO, it's more about the keywords. Keywords, targeted keywords, that blah 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 blah. But the content side of things, right, of the content side now becomes an afterthought in the sense that they just churn out content content. There's no thought into, okay, what kind of keywords are we even targeting? Because not every keyword is good keyword. And with the age of Gen AI, it doesn't make sense for you to like target generic high volume keywords anymore. Gone are the days where if you write content on, for instance, let's say growth hackers, for instance, you trying to rank for the keywords, what is marketing? I'm so sorry, it doesn't make sense in this era because literally when people search for what is marketing on Google now, Gen AI is providing an answer, meaning that even if even if your company ranks for that keyword, it will not lead to as much clicks anymore. So what do you need to do in that regard? You need to like go more niche, right? So we're in an era where you need to be more niched with the keywords you're targeting. And doing that means that you have to like treat content marketing as a core part of your keyword. And what does that even mean in essence? You have to also treat content creation as a form of value adding, right? So when you're creating content, don't just think from your own perspective, think from the user perspective. Content first approach, but more importantly, people first approach, right? So that way, even if you're integrating content marketing into SEO, right, it is more of okay, these two work hand in hand, and yes, I was standing out, especially in this era where it's easy for anyone to just churn out content, and ranking for high volume keyword doesn't make sense anymore. So that's like the two pitfalls I see commonly. But like I said, even this question itself is kind of a pitfall because it's assuming that content marketing is separate from SEO, whereas SEO is under content marketing. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, that's my answer to this very confusing question. But yeah.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much. I don't know if Damilola or Adeniyi would like. I mean, do you have something you want to add?
Yeah, I think is right. The major challenge with, and just to take it a notch further from what he said, the major challenge people have is that they treat they separate content when they're thinking about writing content. They don't think SEO in mind, right? And if SEO is one of the distribution channel for your content, then you have to have it at the back of your mind that okay, after I've created this content, how are people going to, like before I create this content, how are people going to discover this content? How are they going to find them on Google? So I've worked with tons of content writers in my career, during the course of my career. And one thing I also noticed that is that people write content without thinking about SEO. So it is when they are done with the content, they now want to write the title tag and then they want it to rank. No, it doesn't work that way. When you are creating that content, the same way you are thinking of, okay, how am I going to distribute this content through email? How am I going to distribute this content through social media? You also have to think about how are people going to discover this content on Google, on Bing, on search GPT, stuff like that. So when you think about it that way, you avoid the major, most important mistake, thinking that SEO is done after content has been written. No, you have to bake it right into your content creation process.
Yeah, just to add to his point, Victoria. So, as I was speaking, like more points came to mind. So I think another reason why, again, this question is very interesting, right? So, like primarily to what he's saying, right? I think most content briefing process, right, by even like content marketing managers are faulty. In what sense? So you give like a writer a brief, do you understand? And there's nothing about SEO in that brief. I believe
Yeah.
in writing first before even optimizing for SEO. Now that's before production. So I believe like okay, first off, get the draft ready, then optimize for SEO for like production. And there are like a lot of tools to help you with this. You have like software SEO that can help you with this. Like a lot of tools that can help you like streamline the process.
Yeah.
But I think what we have is that people like to stay either way. So you have people that are content managers are like, oh, I'm an SEO freak. Do you understand? You not overdo it. Or you have content managers that are like, let's just get this thing done. Then when it's not ranking, they start getting worried. They start, refreshing content. Meanwhile, if they are done this from the start, there won't be that problem. And lastly, I think another pitfall is always not having a long-term view. And this not just comes from even like content managers or content professionals or even SEO specialists. It comes mostly from the executives, right? So at the end of the day, let's not forget, as a marketing executive, professional, whatever, you're trying to drive revenue, direct or indirectly, right? Unlike sales, as is not a direct impact, right? And so when you're trying to even rank for SEO, include content marketing into it, you have to realize that, or make it known to your executives that, Oga, madam, it's not going to lead to these mad results immediately. So I think when people think of SEO, oh, XYZ is ranking, so we should be ranking for it. Forgetting like these sites are high domain authority sites that started in the prime age of SEO. You can't compare the way HubSpot, Forbes, they are ranking for things easily with the way you that a new
Yes.
Nigerian site would
Mhm.
rank for it. You have to like get backlinks. You have to like build your domain authority. So I think not having that long-term mindset is also a common pitfall I see. But yeah, that's all from my end.
I mean, thank you so much. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head, right? Thank you so much. Yeah, over to you at Damilola, right? Have you ever incorporated core web vitals into your SEO strategy? Yeah, what changes did you notice? Was there a noticeable change?
Oh yeah, core web vitals is like the order of the day now.
Yeah.
So I used to say core web vitals are like
Yeah.
the health check for your website. Ignore them and your site may suffer a slow and public demise in the rankings. So yeah, we have like three major parts of core web vitals, or three major segments for core web vitals, right? LCP, which is your largest content footprint, which measures loading speed. Then the FID, which the first input delay, which measures interactivity. Then also CLS. So CLS, cumulative layout shift. This basically speaks to your visual stability. So let me talk about a platform that I implemented it recently and the results we got. So I worked on an e-commerce platform recently, and so while optimizing the e-commerce platform, right, we noticed high bounce rate on category pages. So then we decided to run like an audit to know what's going on. So yeah, we got to the core web vitals audit as well, and we're able to see that okay, we have issues with the LCP and CLS. So basically, slow loading images and banners were shifting, majorly because of all these pop-ups and ads. So yeah, what did we do? First of all, we try to implement image optimization, right? Basically compressing images onto websites. And for this, you can use tools like Tiny, PNG, or Smosh, or whatever. Then also added lazy loading for offline content. Um, then also we also did server improvement. I noticed that the server was also actually very slow. So we moved to, in fact, it's actually one of these Nigeria hosting sites. Sorry, not trying to shame Nigeria, but yeah, we have very, very poor hosting websites here. So yeah, we moved to a faster hosting provider and also implemented a CDN, right? CDN is content delivery network. Basically, what that means is it's a network of distributed servers, right, that cache website content. It allows users to access your website access faster by delivering them from the server that is close by, right? So basically, in simple terms, it helps with website loading speed. So just think of it like swapping your bike for a Ferrari, kind of. So then we also fixed the CLS, right? So basically redesigned the page layout to minimize content shifts that this art's discussing. So and also looking locking in the advertisements just to stabilize the layout. So yeah, by implementing these three simple things, right? We got outcomes like the load times dropped by like 40%, CLS issue was eliminated, and the rankings for product related keywords improved significantly, and also driving like 20% increase in organic revenue, I guess. So yeah, this is a very, very simple way of implementing core web vital on the website. And I used to tell people that you need to think of core web vitals like tuning a car for a race, right? So speed, control, stability, they all need to work together for peak performance. So if you check your core web vitals, if it's still poor, tune it. Go back again and keep tuning till you get what you need. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so for in this use case, right? Let's say that it's a customized custom built website, right? What would be your advice, right, towards all of these optimizations?
So custom build website, a CMS enabled website, all of these things I just mentioned can be implemented, right? First of all, what we did was image optimization. For even custom
Yeah.
built website, you can actually you can change your media format. In fact, I usually tell people that I prefer WebP and AVIP image formats when you are trying to put image on your website. So yes, these are like one of the things that you can tell your developers that when you're trying to use image, please use this particular format. And this is just because you want a smaller image size, right? Then also things like what's it called? The layouts. Custom website, they can help you work on the layout of maybe your banners and all of that. That's actually very easy for them to do. And they can also minimize their JSS or HTML codes that are irrelevant and all of that. So yeah, even for custom websites, all of these things are applicable.
Thank you so much. Right. Adeniyi, I don't know if you have something to add to that. Do you want to add something to that?
Okay,
Okay,
yes,
no.
I'll just come from the angle of custom websites, right? The major and I think what Damilola spoke about is very important, right? And I see a lot of developers, not to shame anybody, but I notice that developers, when they are designing websites, what is in their mind is the functionality. Does it look beautiful? Does when you
It's a
click a
beauty for
button,
them.
understand? And when the owner sees the website, they are very excited and say, "Wow, what a well-designed website!" But the problem is that there are a lot of things that goes behind the scene that they do not see, and I think that page speed is also one of it. Too many code, too many scripts not doing anything, code not optimized, scripts not optimized, and that leads to making your website load so slowly that even you may not know it, right? Because most times we see the cache version of the website and we think the website is fast. So I think designers need to, and I speak because I also work with a lot of web designers. I think designers need to think also in terms of how can I make my website fast and still function the same way as much as possible. So the CMS that are built have the advantage that there are a lot of people that work on it, and they try to follow best practices because they know that a lot of people are going to use this CMS. But a developer that is just building an application for a single business owner is not thinking about these things. So I think we should even be more careful when you are talking about custom developed website than even the CMS, because CMS try to follow best practices, whereas the custom developer wants to design the website as beautiful as possible and as fast as possible. So I think custom developed websites are even fail this test more than the CMS.
Wow.
Uh, Thank you, Adeni.
Wow.
Victoria, sorry, let me ask that. Thank you, Adeni. So, talking about developers, I think another thing is um, developers also need to be exposed to the understanding of core web vitals, right?
Mhm,
So, I
mhm.
work with several developers that tell you, oh, they work on the page speed, the load speed is great, and all of that. Yeah, fine. But just throw that website on Lighthouse and you see you see the core web vitals, or just go on your JSC, you see poor. Yeah, yeah. So I think they also need to, because a lot of them don't understand what LCP means, right? So look at the hero section of most websites, right? You see this very nice video playing on the background, so beautiful, good to see and all of that. The fancy and all of that. Yeah, it's cool. But do you know that that's very nice video, is slowing down your website big time? And they look at every other part that, oh, it is loading. Sorry, I think we have interference or something.
Sorry, what did you say?
Okay, it's better now. Someone else was speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I was saying, so I think once they have the understanding of what core web writer is, right, I think they will be able to optimize the website better. So they will be able to look out for, oh, the largest content footprint, oh, the first thing that needs to load for every other thing. You know, they have the understanding that we SEO guys understand that, see, this guy keeps rolling and rolling, and guess what? He did not even have lazy loading, so we can't see any other content until this your hero section comes up and all of that. So yeah, I think they will have best understanding of it when they understand why they need core web writers.
So the battle is with developers now, in short.
It's not, there's not just safe developers, it's between us and developers. You know.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Adeniyi, right? I know there's this boss around schema markup. Some SEOs, right, do not support the idea. Some support the idea. Some don't even know how to implement it. Have you ever implemented schema markup in any of your SEO strategies? Yeah. And I mean, what was the result like? Was there any improvement? I mean, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so so I'm going to I'm going to come from this angle, right? Schema markups are very important. They are very good, and there are tons of schema markup out there. We have the local business, we have the service, tons of schema markup. So, but the problem with schema markup is that schema markup is not going to lead to an instant boost, right? So while it is good to implement schema markups, uh, it should not be a priority. Do you understand? So what schema markup does is that it tells Google what that page, schema markup is like giving Google more context about your page, right? It's just a way of you to tell Google that, okay, this page, this is what this page represents, this is what this page does, these are the kind of elements that are on the page, right? So it's just giving more context to the content, which technically I think Google might be able to read it and also understand it. But when it comes to SEO and you're in a very competitive industry and you are looking for the edge, it's easy when you're doing SEO for an industry or a website where there's no competition, so you can get away with any stupid thing, quote and unquote, that you do. But when you're in a very competitive industry, you now start to say, okay, what are the advantage that I can bring to the table that my competitor might not be doing? And that is when schema markup actually comes up. So schema markup is good. There are tons of, and there are ways to implement it, and I would advise people to actually do it. But just note and know that at the end of the day, schema markup is not going to be a game changer, because when it's not going to be a game changer. So yes, implement it. It's good. It lets Google understand more about the page that you have. It lets Google understand more about the kind of content that is on that page, but it's not going to give you that huge boost that you need. So when it comes to schema markup, yes, go ahead, implement it. Let Google know what is that page is all about and stuff like that, but don't expect any significant change, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Right now, so I have this question, right? Would you recommend that SEOs use a third-party tool to implement schema, or you prefer that just maybe use JSON LD to kind of like develop the schema themselves, especially
Okay.
if in code they don't necessarily know how to code.
Yeah, so one thing about schemas and stuff, especially when you don't know how to code, is that you still need. It's better to get someone who knows what they are doing, because you can actually mess it up, right? And then the language you learn, it's a language, it's a type of language. So if you are using JSON, whatever language you are using, just use the language that you know. And there are a lot of tools that you can use to validate the kind of code. There are a lot, and with ChatGTP these days, you don't even have to be a developer. You can just get ChatGTP. This is this website. What is the best code? And it will give you something. Now I'm saying something because it may not be 100% correct. You still have to fine tune it to make sure that it gives you, and that is where the knowledge now comes in. So when you look at it from that angle, you find out that two things. One, if you don't know how to do it, get someone who knows how to do it. That is a no-brainer. However, you can, just get someone who knows how to do it, and they can use any language they know, as long as that code is validated. And you have tons of third-party tools that you can use to validate whatever schema you are implementing on the website. So use any language. Just make sure that it is validated. It doesn't drop any error when you check it through a third-party tool. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes. Damilola, do you have an alternate opinion about this? What do you think?
Not alternate opinion. I didn't have spoken well, not alternate opinion. But what I want to say is, so there was where I didn't mention that don't expect anything when you use schema markup. Wait, hold up, guys. That's not what it means. What it means is managing your expectations, right? So don't go and tell a client that, oh, you are currently at 100 organic traffic per month. Immediately I had schema markup, bro. You're going to 1,000, bro. Nah. It doesn't work like that. So I guess that's what he's trying to say there. That just trying to help you manage your expectation. Don't think that, oh, schema markup is a magic that once you do, and this is because even Google itself is not transparent about ranking factors, right? What makes you rank and all of that. We just know that, okay, we need to implement this, implement that till you get. So yes, schema markup is something that is important for you to implement. Then you also ask that should you use third-party tools? So I want to get you clearly. So let's take, for example, for all these WordPress websites, you're saying, should you use a plugin? Is that what you're saying to implement schema markup?
Yes, like yours or rank max.
Oh, if it's still yours, it's still fine. But I think one thing with all of these third-party CMS is you need to be careful with how much plugins you are just bombarding on your website, right? For every of these plugins, they come with their own codes, right? That can actually influence or even affect your website. And guess what? A lot of SEOs don't even know what crawl optimization is. Under your Yoast SEO, where you go and put off a lot of things that affect your codes. You get so, which means that you need to minimize the number of plugins that you start adding to your website. If you are able to write the code, please do. If you can't, reach out to someone that can help you with it. But I really don't always advise people to, for every solution you're trying to solve on your website, adding a new plugin, bro, you're adding more problems to it, actually.
Yeah, thank you so much. Jeremiah, please, do you have an opinion? I mean, what do you think about this?
I have nothing to say. I think we've said it all actually. So technical SEO is not like my strength. So I'll just leave the experts to say one or two.
Okay. So how do you think that content marketing can support a robust strategy for SEO?
Can you say the question again? I think, how do I think what content marketing can support a robust strategy for SEO?
Yes.
Or is it a robust SEO
like
strategy?
a long term? Yes. Like how do you fuse content marketing with strategy?
Okay. The question has popped up. That makes more sense. So like I said when I was answering the other time, content marketing is long term. That's the truth. SEO is also long term. I think most marketing efforts are actually long. So we are trying to like get quick wins and you want like a quick sprint, right? But with SEO is always long term because you don't get to see a result quickly, right? Especially if you're a new site you're trying to build, or you even had content in the past, but it was not like well established and well optimized for SEO success. So now, how can content marketing now support this long term success? I think it is essentially you just creating more and more content, but also realizing what you're sitting on. Now, explain what I mean, right? I think most times when companies are trying to rank, when people are trying to rank, what they do is they churn out content, right? Forgetting that sometimes they're still on a good mind. And this is where a crucial aspect comes in. And it actually takes time, which invariably contribute to the long-term success, right? And what am I talking about? I'm talking about content refreshes, right? It's not every time you need to create new content. Sometimes you have like a host of content you're sitting on, optimize them. And I think one of the speakers alluded to, I think the EAT. Now I think it's even like EEAT because they've added the experience to it. Gone was a time when expertise, authority, and trustworthiness was just relevant to ranking, SEO wise. Right now, you also need to have like good experience for a reader. And what does good experience mean? It covers a multitude of factors. One being how your site even feels, the user experience, right? How does it feel to like browse through your site? That is really important, and that takes a lot of time, right? So my point is like the efforts needed to like contribute to SEO success are really long term, and they are more of an ongoing effort than one time off, right? So if you can just like make your mind see this, that this is not a one-time thing, no be it's not, it's a marathon, not like one time race, right? It makes it easier for you to like support your strategy, right? So that's what I think, right? At how content marketing can support. This question is very is phrased in a very like interesting manner, but yeah, that's what I think. I didn't even answer the question, but that's what I think. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, you answered correctly. You
Oh, okay.
did. Yeah, thank you so much. Damilola, right? I know we've heard something about. I mean, you've implemented a lot of programmatic SEO, especially at Waka now, if I am correct. Yeah. Can you just give us like a brief overview of what programmatic SEO is and how it can be implemented?
Okay, programmatic SEO in its own name is basically just like it sounds. It's like automating a bakery, right? So you are not unrolling bread anymore. You are cranking out pastries by dozen, each perfectly crafted. That's like a simple way to say it. It's just basically not doing things manually, right? And I will not use Wakana as an example. So I'm going to use a real estate website that I worked on not quite long as an example. So for this website, we needed thousands of cities and neighborhood pages, right? So you know how you have all this kind of um, best house to rent in Shobolu, best house to rent in Bagada, best, you get those kind of keywords or those kind of content. So yeah, we needed to create a lot of it. So imagine wanting to create for the whole of Nigeria. So imagine how many pages that you have to create. If you do that manually, man, I respect you. But now, so instead of manually creating them, because who has time for that? So we implemented programmatic SEO. And basically what was that? Like it's just a few steps, right? So it's creating dynamic templates, right? That put data from a centralized database. So data like house prices, school ratings, stuff like that. Then also trying to add unique meta description and headers for each of these page, right? And this is to help you avoid duplication. You need to run away from duplication actually. So yeah, so this help to that. Then also applying structured data markup just to enhance set visibility. So it's just majorly these 3 steps. Though I'm trying to summarize right now because if you break down programmatic SEO, in fact, setting up the dynamic template to publications or all of that is actually a lot of work. Yeah. So I'm just trying to summarize. So basically, setting up your dynamic templates, adding unique meta description and headers for each page, then of course creating structured data markup, and of course we had great outcome. I think we had over 5,000 plus pages that was indexed in like a week, and then
Wow.
Impressions skyrocketed, local traffic surged, and all of that. Yeah, he also helped with local traffic actually. So for programmatic SEO, I would say that programmatic SEO is like the closest thing to content cloning machine, right? But remember, it's actually not about quantity over quality. It's about scaling without compromise. So yeah, that's how I'm going to define programmatic SEO.
Okay. Thank you for that. Adeniyi, please, do you have do you have a perspective? What are your thoughts on this?
Um, yeah, it's a very interesting thing because when you are thinking of scaling with SEO, one of the things you need to think about or you need to implement is programmatic SEO. And so it's a no-brainer, right? Once you're trying to scale with SEO, programmatic SEO is what you need to look at. The only challenge I have, or the only thing I would say or add to that, which you mentioned, is the fact that you have to avoid duplication as much as possible. So as you are creating it, you need to start thinking, how can I make each page unique in its own right, right? So that you don't have, because the problem programmatic SEO might also give people who don't approach it with a strategy is duplicate content or thin content where your content is not valuable. And when Google looks at your website and says out of 100 pages on this website, 60 is not valuable, then you know that you are in big shit, right? Quote and unquote. So programmatic SEO is something you need to leverage once you're trying to say, how can I grow my website very fast? How can I get the traffic? Two things to bear in mind. Make sure it's relevant to your audience. That means your audience actually needs those pages, and then make sure that you are not creating another problem, which is duplicate or thin content. Once you can solve that problem, once you can solve those two things, then you are good to go.
Yeah, thank you so much. So there was this time I saw someone say something about programmatic SEO. He said he used what's the thing called? Excel sheets, right, for the data and variables. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, I don't understand because for me, right, when I implemented programmatic, it was just me like telling the what's it called now? Developers that okay, these are the data points, these are the variables that I need to change. Then they use their API to like pull it from the backlog. But when I came on LinkedIn, and the guy was like, he used the Excel sheet. I'm like, who? This is another angle. It'd be like say me self, I just the start. So what do you think? Did people use Google Sheets? Abby?
Really, you can use anything, honestly. It doesn't matter. What matters most is that at the end of the day, those pages are being created and you're avoiding these issues that we spoke about. Excel sheet, Word, anyhow, just use something. Make sure that you have a valuable page at the end of the day.
So
Yeah. Thank
another thing I need to add, Victoria, is you need to know whatever was used for, right?
Okay.
Spreadsheet, right? Or which is the Excel you mentioned, and whatever your tech team told you that they use. The basic
No, it
thing,
was not
what
me.
they were
I
trying.
just saw it on LinkedIn.
Okay, so what they were just trying to do is they were trying to collect data, right? So yes, I can use spreadsheet to collect data, right? I can use APIs to collect data, right? I can
Yeah.
use databases to collect data. So what do they need it for? That's the question. So, they need to collect data. So yes, you can use spreadsheets, you can use APIs, you can use any of those things. So nobody has done anything wrong in that place. So it is maybe when you're now moving to creating the content template, right? Maybe where you're now using, if you're using a CMS, trying to use a custom feed for your WordPress or Webflow and the like, that is when you can say, okay, if someone says he used Excel there, I'm going to ask how to do it. So yeah, for that part, collecting data is fine. It's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, that makes sense. Over to you, Jeremiah. Right. I mean, you said earlier, right, that your own perspective, right, about integrating SEO into content strategy is that you prefer that the writer writes the content first, then they now optimize for SEO, right? Is there a case study around this? Like, I mean, do you have a case study around this? What's right? Can you please?
Yeah, I mean, this has been my approach to like many places I've worked. I believe in, like I said, writing for your audience first, then optimizing for like machines, right? Which is essentially like the algorithms and whatever that make you rank, right? So and it has led to good results. In fact, in my company where I work at the moment, where I manage the content, we've had like more impressions, more clicks, increase in week to week traffic and even more engagement, right? So the time we had like issues with engagement because of the influx of traffic we got from paid ads. Do you understand? So it affected even the kind of engagement we had, even from visitors on the organic side, right? But because of the kind of practices we infuse in our writing, right, and even just how we like style the website, it filled that gap, and that's like that changed. But I'll give an instance of when content first approach led to a massive success, and I'll give an instance of Steers. So at Steers, right, where I worked last, we had a product, an election product called Steers Elections, that provided real-time data on electoral matters for the 23 general elections and even gubernatorial elections, right? And to get massive success from that product, we needed to amplify our effort via SEO, right? So we did programmatic SEO. We also did a lot of like SEO driven content. We had a series covering electoral matters. And in all this, right, we had keywords we were targeting, of course. We had goals in mind. We had specific queries we were trying to, come out, rank for and whatever. But the writing came first. This is how the process was, right? Because we had analysts that actually like wrote these things, political analysts, actual well-versed analysts, and this is where the EEAT comes in. And yeah, the two factors that were contributing here were the expertise and authority, which then leads to trustworthiness because you have experts actually writing this content, right? And when you byline these articles, right, Google is able to because we provided bios as well. Google is able to read that these people actually know their onion. Now you can see that even before even doing the things of title tags, the technical side of things, we're already satisfying the basic criteria set by Google to get these rankings right. Then once the analysis is done writing, the editor just sends me the drafts. Then I use software SEO to ensure that it is well optimized. Now, before even optimizing this content, I did one thing, and which was to fill the knowledge gap. Right. So the analysts are not SEO experts, of course. Neither are they content marketing, connoisseurs, right? So one thing I did was I organized a series of masterclass to ensure that to some extent they are knowledgeable about basic SEO. So that way, the work I had to do whenever they're done writing was not really a lot, right? I just make it more readable, include keywords at strategic positions, write meta description, and work with developers to make sure that the technical SEO foundation is right. And that led to massive results. Those results that are mentioned on my bio, the 1 point something million users, the 97% week on week increase in organic traffic, they were from these different SEO contents that we created. Right. So that's an example, one of the many examples of how a content first approach has led to success. I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah.
Yeah, perfectly. Good.
Yeah. All right.
So, Damilola and Adeniyi, do you have a counter attack?
Nah. Just I will just add that if you remember the phrase "content is king," then you understand where it's coming from.
It makes sense.
I think
How
Jeremiah
about
killed
you,
it. Actually.
Damilola?
No, I think
Yeah.
Jeremiah killed it. That makes a lot of sense. Well done, Jeremiah.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, over to you, Adeniyi. Right. How do you prioritize keyword research for fintechs? Generally, let's say you're working for a startup. How do you prioritize their keyword research?
Okay. Interesting question, right? So when it comes to keyword research, right, there are a lot of ways you can go about it. There are a lot of things you can do. But how do you decide and how do you prioritize which one to go after first? And that answer is very simple: bottom of funnel content or bottom of funnel keywords, right? Remember that SEO takes time. And if you are actually in a place where you have KPIs to deliver, and nobody wants to be patient, even though people know that SEO takes a lot of time. Nobody wants to be patient. Everybody wants to get that result as fast as possible. So for you to get the result as fast as possible, the first thing you need to do, the first priority, the first kind of keyword you should go after is the bottom of funnel keywords. So these are keywords that your audience are actually searching for that can lead to a conversion. Now, conversion could be anything. It could be for e-commerce, it could be add to cart, purchase, etc. For B2B, it could actually be to fill a form, let's say the contact form and all those things. So you need to, so when you are talking of prioritization, you need to go through bottom of funnel content first. That should be your first line of attack, right? Once you can solve that, then you can now start moving upward from there to go to middle funnel and then the top of funnel. However, bottom of funnel should be the first priority kind of keyword that anybody should go after, because you need to deliver result on time. You need to prove your value. I mean, if I bring in an SEO person and you're telling me that SEO takes time and you need like a 1 year
Uh,
Can you hear me? Okay, I just wanted to be sure. Oh, okay, okay. Damilola, do you have, I mean, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, I couldn't even hear most of what Adeniyi was
Said,
saying. But yeah, I guess he mentioned something about bottom funnel content. Yeah, that's great. But I really wish it was there. I would also love to have that. Nah, you should also have your top, especially for e-commerce platform.
yeah,
I can remember way back when I'm still uh uh fully doing affiliate marketing for Amazon. And
Mhm.
so when you want to create like an affiliate website and all of, because you are trying to affiliate for Amazon, right, which is an e-commerce platform, you first of all need to go for the top. You can't go for your money keyword yet. You have to go for the top funnel first. You need to start with the whole awareness. Then from the awareness, then you can now start after you've gain a little bit of traction and traffic, then you can now move into your money content, which is the bottom funnel content. And most times, even those money content that you're talking about, you are still going to have to, insert most of them in your top awareness content, like more like internal linking for topical relevance and all of that. So yeah, like I didn't mention, why working on your bottom funnel, most likely for e-commerce website, you need to also go for your top funnel what's it called content, because most times people ask the how to question, can I questions, not the best what's it called question. But I get his angle. He's trying to talk about ROI now. So if I employ you to join my company, I want results from you right away and all of that. I will start pressuring for results. Most of these Nigerian players, they will start pressuring you for results and all of that. So because of that, a lot of people try to jump the gun. And all of that. What I would advise that you go for the top funnel content while you are also working on bottom funnel content for results.
Yeah, thank you so much. Right. I mean, I'm also a big fan of bottom of the funnel mixed with awareness, right? Because at least people have to be aware of what they are trying to buy or whatever it is that they are trying to to purchase. And then I think that awareness has lots of, I mean, volume, right, compared to, yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's that. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I have this question for you, right? And I think it's a question that is, I mean, that bugs a lot of SEO guys, right? And it's regards to link building. What's your approach? Do you buy links? Do you build linkable assets? What's the approach?
Um, there are several ways to get leads
Mhm.
actually. So I will not just tell you, oh, this is just the approach. But I think one that stands out that wouldn't cost you money, that I've tried before and worked, more like innovative strategy, right? To get backlink is I would say storytelling, right? People love a good story, especially if it comes with exclusive data and of course shiny infographic. So storytelling, but how? With infographic. So let me give you an example. A few years ago, when I was working on a professional services company website, I could remember one of the things that we did then was so we created like an interactive report on how to attract and retain top talent using HR and recruitment data and surveys, right? All of this content we now use it to craft like a visual appealing infographic that bloggers and journalists were actually interested in. And how did we make it a buzz, or how did it generate backlink from it? So the first thing is exclusive data, right? Everyone loves feeling special, right? Even journalists. So we made our data irresistible by presenting it like an insider insights, right? Then visual content. Infographics and charts made the content not just shareable, but stealable in a good way, right? It looks so good, it looks so appealing, the visuals very sweet to see. Then lastly, personalized outreach. So we reach out to bloggers and journalists. I think this is another place where you have a lot of work to do. You know, reaching out to bloggers, reaching out to webmasters and journalists and others. And yes, it bets a very, very good result. We were able to acquire over 150 plus backlink, I guess, from high authority websites, which increased domain authority by a few numbers, and also drove like over 20,000 referral visits from partner sites. So basically, infographic is a very, very, very innovative way of getting backlink. Though it doesn't work as much as it used to back then. This company that I was referring to, I'm referring to way back 2019, right? That we generated all of these things. So to answer your question, I would think one of the most innovative ways to acquire or to build backlink is using infographic. It might not be as effective as that time, but it still works. I still did it recently. But where the real job is number one, when you're conducting your keyword research, you need to put in so much work there. Like, what is that keyword or what is that topic that would interest people that they would want to post your infographics on their website, right? It needs to make sense. And that's where value comes in. You need to have value that people are really, really interested in. Then number two, outreach. It's not like you reach out to 5 people and 10 people and you say you've done outreach. That's not how it works. You're looking at reaching out to over 1,000 people, more than 1,000 sometimes, 5,000, 10,000. Yeah, via email. And guess what? You might only get 10% to respond to you. Out of this 10%, you might only get 2% to actually do what you want. So what is a game of numbers, right? So what that means is that you need to go for, your pool needs to be large, right? For you to acquire 20 backlinks, 30 backlinks, you need, the first outreach needs to be like 10,000 plus, right? But the goal here is, I'm trying not to pay for it. I'm trying to get this thing, what do they call it again? White hat SEO, right? So yeah, I'm trying to get this thing without paying for it. Then lastly, I would say that people link to content that provides unique value or makes them look good. So whether it's exclusive data, infographics, or tools, just think beyond traditional blog posts, please. That thing is tiring. Writing blog posts, I wrote this blog post, please. And yeah, this is also for people that send those kind of mails to me. Don't send it. I will not respond. All right, Victoria.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and I think there was this time, right, that I had this engagement. I mean, I was speaking with someone, and the person came from the perspective of, okay, why not, um, create statistics. For example, maybe you're working for a company that does customer success, right? The product they sell is something that enhances customer success, right? So the person was like, maybe when you create a lot of statistics, but then my own idea is a lot of people have created statistics. What difference do you think this would push? Right. I mean, right, when I do analysis, I'm saying that, okay, the most linked page for these guys, for these competitors, right, is the statistics page. So why do you think that people want to link back to me when they've already linked back to these guys, right? I mean, I want to say that link building, right, is maybe not complex, right, but
Well,
then you have to have a lot of energy. Yeah, please.
well, about that, no, I don't want that to discourage you. That someone is linking to someone already doesn't mean that if you create a better content, they will not link to you instead. I
Okay.
think one of the things Jeremiah mentioned earlier is content freshness, right? So it's
Yeah.
not just Google, it's all about content freshness. Even webmasters, right? And content managers are also about content freshness. So if you have a particular stat that talks about something in
Customer
2014,
satisfaction.
you have someone who has an updated version in 2024. Of course, I'm going to link to the 2024 updated version
Yeah.
because 2014 is outdated, right? So please don't let that one discourage you that, oh, because someone has it already. No, I think what you should just do is make yours better, update it, freshness, like let that be the difference, right? Then outreach, bro. If the person did 100, do 200. If the person do 200, do 500.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so another thing again, right, about outreach is that sometimes if you do like 1,000 outreach, okay, let's not exaggerate. Let's say you do 100 outreach. The chances of, okay, let's say 10, a percentage, like 10% response to you. Now, the response is coming with billing. Do you get? Because
Oh,
oftentimes,
yeah.
so oftentimes those guys don't offer to give you a backlink for free. You are going to pay. I don't
So
know if that's your
like
experience, but that's been my experience.
that's the order of the day, Victoria.
Mhm.
So like I mentioned earlier, right?
Yeah.
That when you run your first iteration for the outreach, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might just get 10% response. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
That 10% response is not conversion. No.
Mm-hmm.
That's not conversion.
Mm-hmm.
From that 10% response, right? The response might be no. The next
Yes.
that's a particular percentage, right? Another percentage might be how much are you offering? Or this is how
Mm-hmm.
much we charge
Mm-hmm.
to put backlink on our website and all of that. Another percentage is going to be okay, so for backlinks, whatever on our website, you need to write a featured content. There's that
Yes.
part.
Yes.
Another one we ask you, oh, is it link insertion you want? For link insertion, oh, we collect this kind of amount. And some will tell you for link insertion, we just need your content to be fresh. So in the end, the conversion might not be more than 1%, which was why I mentioned earlier that if you want a bigger conversion,
Mm-hmm.
increase your outreach,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you want 10 people to give you a positive response, you are definitely not trying to reach out to 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
No. In fact, you are not reaching out to 1,000 people to get 10 good response. So that means you need to increase that pool for your
Mm-hmm.
outreach for you to get better response. To
Yeah.
get.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, Adeniyi, what do you think about this, Jeremiah? Yeah. What do you think about all that has been said? Yeah. So please, before Jeremiah and Adeniyi answers the question, right? Yeah, we're about to move into Q&A section, right? So if you have your questions, if you've asked your questions already, right, I'll say it's time for you to pay more attention because we're about to move into Q&A. Yeah, so over to you, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to what you said.
Oh, thank you.
Mine, nothing to add.
Thank you so much. Adeniyi, what of you, Adeniyi? Oh, I think he's muted. So yeah, please let's go to Q and A. Right. So this person asked a question. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but the person said, I was ranking number 1 on SEP for a blog with Medium for about 8 months ago. Just for me to check a few weeks ago, and the blog is nowhere to be found on the SEP. What could the problem be? Damilola, what do you think?
There are several questions here, actually, Victoria.
Yeah.
So first of all, yeah, isn't a third party? What's it called?
More like parasite SEO.
What do you say?
I said more like parasite SEO.
So I don't know. Like, honestly, you're not in control of this thing. Faith, right? You're not in control of what happens to Medium. If it were your own website, right, then we can come and analyze and say, okay, let's look at your GSC, let's look at all of these things and ask questions. But for a Medium website, if your whatever you're ranking for is no longer ranking, I really don't know the best answer to give to you than go create your own website, please. I'm not a fan of you putting valuable content on creating websites like Medium, Curiosity, Quora, except you have something you want to gain from it. So yeah, some people want to get backlink from it, but even those backlinks, they're not watered down, you know. They are not how they used to be before. They are not that valuable, right? So I don't know what you are trying to get from there. Maybe it's just the audience. But trust me, the only advice I'll give is please go create your website. Then then we can now, talk better on it.
Thank you so much for that. Adeniyi, do you want to add anything?
Okay, yes, I can. Sorry, my network has been behaving straightly, so for the past couple of minutes. So I'll just take it very fast. Yeah, I'll just take you very, thank you. So I'll just take you very fast from backlinks, right? You spoke and then answer Faith's question, which I think Damilola has answered perfectly well, right? First and foremost, you need to if this, Google, some few months ago, weeks ago, Google came up with this helpful content update, right? And as a result of this helpful content update, a lot of things were disrupted in the search engine result page. So the issue could be a lot, but because the article is not hosted on your own website, it's very hard for us to actually be able to diagnose what the problem might be, right? So that is that. So there's little anybody can do about that. But you spoke about something which is very interesting, right? Some few minutes ago, you spoke about statistics article as backlink asset, right? And I just want to tell you that I worked on a project recently. Within the space of 6 months, I've created 2 statistics content, and this content has gathered backlinks automatically without us doing anything. Yeah, without us doing anything. So, and right now is the most linked to page on those websites, on the 2 websites. Yeah. So statistics article works. The only thing is that there's a way and a format to making it work, right? There's a format that you need to create your statistics in that will make sure that it's able to gather those backlink that you needed. And what Damilola spoke about, the kind of statistics you reference, like is it your own data? Were you able to manipulate data that were out there to create a fresh perspective? All those kind of things will now come into play when you are creating that statistics content. But I think that when you're talking about linkable assets that can get links automatically without you having to do a lot, statistics article is something that everybody should leverage. And there's a format and a way to create it that is going to get you the backlinks that you needed. And then when you now get it, the other part of it is don't make the mistake of just getting it for the sake of getting it. Once you start getting backlinks to that statistics article, make sure that you are linking to at least 2 or 3 of your most powerful page that you actually want to rank. Remember that the statistics article is just like a medium. You are passing equity through it. You are not ranking it for the sake of ranking it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. All right. So this person is asking, when you're hired to do SEO for a new website, give a roadmap to take to make sure you do a good job. Adeniyi, please, over to you.
Okay.
They say you should create strategy.
We should create strategy for them.
Honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so I would say that the first thing is to identify your goals, right? What do you? It's a brand new website. Keywords. So what are the keywords that
Oops.
you want to rank for, right? That is the first thing. That is how you're able to set the goal and say, okay, if I'm able to rank for these keywords, this keyword is going to generate so and so amount of lead, amount of, whatever. So once you identify what those are, then you need to now go after it. And the funniest thing, which is very difficult, which is why I'm not going to give any strategy, but I'm going to say that each website is unique in its own. Every
Mm,
website comes with its own challenges. If you're an
mhm,
e-commerce and you're on Shopify, your problem is going to be different from somebody that is on e-commerce and on WordPress.
mhm,
And it's going to be different from someone that is on big commerce or Magento. So
mhm,
there's no one size fit all strategy. You just need
mhm,
to know what kind of website you are, what are the challenges that platform or that website can have, and then solve it. But remember that at the end of the day, SEO has five main components:
mhm,
content, technical, backlink, on
mhm,
page, and user experience. So you need to
mhm.
go through all of these five areas and start solving them one by one. And each of these five areas has like 20 layers that I can even highlight in each of them. So you can't get a you can't get any strategy. But one quick tip that I can give is look at your competitor.
Mhm,
What is the best page that is driving traffic to those competitor?
mhm.
I love to do that a lot. Go after those traffic and steal steal that traffic from them.
Did not say you should become a thief. Oh.
Yeah, that's why they want to steal that traffic. It's as simple as
Yeah, yeah.
that.
Damilola, I see you are smiling. Oh yeah, add this,
Honestly,
add this.
is the question, I think it's kind of you can't pinpoint to a direct thing, right? Because
Mhm,
if I tell you to just do this, I don't even know the kind of website you're trying to work on. Yeah.
mhm,
So it would be unfair of me to just give you like a blanket kind of strategy that, oh, you must do this. It doesn't even work like that in SEO. It's funny how even we SEO specialists, right? We try to do a particular thing on a website and we get a new website. You try to implement the same thing you did on the previous website on this your new website, bro. It's not going to work. Like you will be
Yeah.
shocked. Like I didn't do like you try to look for the loophole that, oh, what did I do wrong? Don't worry, you didn't do anything wrong. There are several different approaches to every website.
mhm,
But like Adeniyi has mentioned, right? First of all, you need to highlight your goals and objectives. What are you trying to achieve?
mhm,
Trying to get organic traffic? Are you trying to just increase the number of keywords on the website? Are you trying to get leads? Or oh, are you trying to actually sell, like if it's a product kind of website and all of that? So you need to bring highlight what your objectives are. Then after that, you also now need to look at this website you want to work on. That's where site audit comes in. You
mhm,
need to conduct a robust site audit. So when you conduct a robust site audit, that is also where computer analysis that Adeniyi mentioned earlier comes in, right? Where you look at what your computer is doing, you look at the gaps, the overlaps, and all of that with the current website that you're trying to work on. But from your site audits, you also identify a lot of things. You identify all of the core issues you have on the website, all of the technical things that you need to fix on your website. Okay. So you identify all of these things, then you can now double down on the five aspects of SEO that Adeni mentioned, right? Fixing the technical issues you've identified and all of this. So I think this is like at least a roadmap, but it's still a blanket roadmap, right?
I mean,
So that can help you out.
web actually is very wide. It's not one. I mean, it's
Exactly.
wide.
So,
So I mean, it's very very wide. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Jeremiah. This question is for you, please. Someone said they are managing a real estate company, like they are managing the content team for a real estate company. They said they have some content on the site, but they are not getting enough visibility. Then they said they are implementing basic SEO strategies and all. What's your advice?
Okay, so I think was Damilola that said it that I think these questions we lack a lot of context, right,
Mhm.
into like the real situation. So it's hard to give,
Direct answer.
advice, actionable advice. Because when you say you have some content on the site, is it just mere pages, like maybe like service description pages, or are you talking about like actual blog content, right?
Mhm.
Or is it that you have glossary pages, or do you have
Mhm.
programmatic like pages? I
Mhm.
need to actually know the kind of content this person has on the site before I can actually like give an advice. But what I would say is also look at like the time frame for which these like sites have existed, right? The time frame number one, and also the competitive landscape, right? So
Mhm.
if it's a real estate company, right,
Mhm.
and what you're having is other like real estate companies ranking for your desired keywords, you might want to do, I think what Adeniyi or Damilola said, look into the keywords they're ranking for. They try to rank for them using this, what I call the skyscraper technique, right? So you look at the content they are currently ranking for, that is currently ranking for those keywords you desire. Analyze like the top 5 or the top 10. What is that information that is not there, right? That your
Mhm.
company can write and rank for. And also, you might want to try like a more novel approach. If everybody's writing blog posts, you do an original research. In fact, I think things like original content is the fast way for you to get ahead these days. Write original content, do surveys, do analysis. For instance, the real estate has a lot of like, up and coming what's it called, trends for maybe 2025. Write content like that. Is it for you to like rank for like content that you have a first mover advantage than for you
Mhm.
to rank for something that your competitors are already ranking against? That what I see is happening. Or it can even be that this person, they're not really like implementing advanced SEO strategies. It's not
Mhm.
enough for you to like write content and implement SEO keywords here and there. That is basic. And with basic actions, you will get basic results. To
Yeah.
get advanced results, you need to get advanced action. So you might need to like be more innovative. And also, I think double down on what works and dispose what doesn't work. If something is not working, please don't be so attached to your darlings. Kill them.
Mhm.
Go to the next. This is our advice. I don't really have context, but I think this generic advice can, motivate the person to do something more, contextualized in the situation. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. The person already added context. The person said it's an actual blog content.
If it's an actual blog content, I would say, to be very honest, if you're not getting enough visibility, you might need to like go back and think deeply about
Mhm.
first the kind of keywords you want to rank for. And also ask yourself, the keywords you're trying to rank for, are they the keywords that will lead to like the desired results for your company? Right? Are they
Mhm.
relevant? And this is where
Mhm.
like even speaking to your customers, I think we mostly like leave this part of SEO aside, mostly, and just start targeting keywords based on vibes.
Mhm.
Don't just target keywords because of their high volume. Actually speak to your customers, right? Your prospects, your actual customers. Now I said two things. Your prospects, those that are not your customers yet, right?
Mhm.
Just try to get into their mind. Also use tools like what's the name of this tool by this man? I'm forgotten, by the former CEO of Moz. Spectro, yeah. So Spectro is a very good audience research tool. You can easily discover the kind of like queries your audience persona is looking for. And if you don't have an audience personal document, you might need to like develop that first. Because what I'm seeing here is I think the foundation here is broken. Because if you are truly implementing like SEO practices, you should get results regardless. So try to like look into like the foundation for your SEO strategy. Try to like really get what your audience is interested in, then start building like content around that. Not what you think or what ChatGPT is recommending to you. So that's what
Mhm.
I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would also want to add that there's even a tendency that the keyword research is, the keyword
Yeah.
research that, yeah, it might have there might be a
Yeah.
loophole in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And okay, if I might just add something very briefly, when people say they don't have visibility,
Mhm.
they there are two problems they are likely going to have.
Mhm.
Jeremiah has spoken to the foundational problem, but sincerely, when I analyze website and they don't have visibility, the two major problems that they usually have is number one, the content you are producing. how valuable is that content? You know,
Yes.
people think they can just churn out content and your content will rank. Sometimes it will not, because you have to be think of Google. Google wants to serve the best results. Ask yourself, for this content I've written, is that the best result? Right? So if an article needs you to write 1005 words and you've just written 750 mediocre content that does not even have value to anybody, that content is never going to rank. Believe me. So your visibility issue can be summed down to two things: how valuable is your content, and how valuable is the number of backlinks that you have. I tell people sometimes you don't have a visibility problem, you have a backlink problem, because if you are trying to rank for a keyword that is very competitive and you don't have enough backlinks, your domain authority is like zero, then you've not started. Just forget it. Go after all these long tail keywords that can give you value. But two problems: how valuable is that content? Is that content just written for the sake of writing? And how much backlink, which is how much authority, does your website have?
Yeah, I think just to add, right, what Adeni makes a lot of sense, and it ties back to what I said earlier about like speaking with your customers. Actually, speak to the people you are trying to like reach to get an idea of what they really want to see. And something else you can do is you can kind of do a beta testing. So just like the way I just approach it with like a product mindset. I'll give you an instance. So just like the way startups will first create a better version of their product before they go live to the market, right? Always test the viability of your content via social media. So if you want to write maybe 10 real estate trends, instead of going to go and spend all your time writing it as a blog post first and not getting the results you need, first publish it as a social media post, as a LinkedIn post, as a tweet, right? So the likes you get or the comments you get can tell you if that's something your potential audience will be interested in. If it doesn't really perform well, now this is not like a hard rule. It's not always the case all the time, but mostly if something will perform well on socials, there's tendency that it will actually add value to people that will come across it on search. So that's like one way you can also like kind of test the viability of your ideas before putting your effort into it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Damilola, do you have a perspective?
I feel like Adeniyi and Jeremiah have said a lot already. The only thing I just add is, considering that I've had experience with real estate website before, I think you should also check your technical SEO part, right? So real estate websites are prone to a lot of technical SEO issues, most especially keyword cannibalization, right? Pagination and things like that. So I think you should conduct a technical SEO audit and check it out. But I think after that, you can now implement most of these other things that are taking advantage of.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, I hope that the person that asked the question find this very, very useful and valuable. Yeah, so we have two more questions, and yeah. Is it wrong to duplicate content but serving different audiences? There will be changes to the headline and intro to suit the specific audience, but the body of the content is the same. Damilola or Adeniyi or Jeremiah, what do you think?
Okay, can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
so I'll go first. Okay, is it wrong to duplicate content? Really, the problem with content, and this is all advanced, right? You know, when you're talking about the basic, there are some basic, but when you're talking about advanced SEOs, there are some things. First and foremost, Google do not penalize you having duplicate content. The only challenge with having duplicate content is that content might not be the content you want Google to rank, right? So Google might not start ranking content that you do not want. So there's no penalization for having duplicate content on your website. The challenge with that is that it just leads to content bloating, crawl waste budget, and all those advanced things, right? So having duplicating content on your website is not wrong, as long as you can you find a way to specify that this content is for whatever user you want. But the question I would ask is that the best version of that page that you can give to that user, right? And that might actually now answer that question. But Google is not going to penalize if you have duplicate content on your website. You're not going to enter into any penalty and all of those kind of a thing. The only challenge is it could now lead to more problems, and that is why when you're talking about advanced and technical SEO things, it might actually be very complex for a lot of people, you know. So ask yourself, is this the best version of my website for that user? And that would help you solve that problem. Yeah.
Damilola, what do you think? Sorry, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay, I think he's back now, right? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Oh, Adeniyi has left. So I wanted to say Adeniyi is a politician. Now, the reason why I said Adeniyi is a politician is duplication good? No.
Not good. What is not good is not good.
Duplication is not good. No matter how much you try to sugarcoat it and all of that. Because yes, what does it lead to? It leads to what we call keyword cannibalization, right? So keyword cannibalization is a situation where multiple pages on your website, right, are trying to rank for one keyword. So let's look at it like this. You wrote a content on best food to eat in the afternoon, right? You wrote another content, best afternoon food. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so you wrote another content, best afternoon food. Then you now wrote another one, sweetest food to eat in the afternoon. Now, you're not trying to tell us that, oh, you've used different titles for this content. But look at these titles in the body of the content. What are you trying to write about? You're not trying to write about anything, right? Best food to eat in the afternoon.
Same thing, yeah.
So if you like change the title, right? The only problem that will not appear is called title duplication. Is that you will not see title duplication, but bro, you don't keyword cannibalization.
Yes.
Because you've written this content about this 3 different times. So you need to pick a struggle, right? So if you have several content, instead of duplicating it, just make it one. Set your canonical, right? And okay, and another thing is, if it is compulsory that, oh, you have the duplicate, right? You can just set the canonical. And apart from setting the canonical, there's something called 2FA, right? Two-factor authenticator. Also add internal link to say, okay, after setting the canonical, add internal link to it again. And you can even do 3FA. Put it on your sitemap and your robo.txt. Just to tell Google, it's just like you keep repeating it to Google that, bro, this is the page, this is the right one, this is the right one that I'm trying to, this is the right page for this particular keyword, right? So, but I would actually ask you not to duplicate content. There's really no advantage to it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. One last question, please. Someone is asking, what tool is being used for programmatic SEO?
Funnily enough, I know the person asking this question. He used to be one of the So, Bisola, programmatic SEO, you can't just use one tool for programmatic SEO.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, for your data gathering and what's it called? Yeah, for your data gathering, for the data gathering purpose, you can use APIs to gather your data. You can use what's it called? Spreadsheets to collect data and all of that. You can even use tools like Airtable, right? To get your data before integrating to your CMS. But when you are trying to create like a modular page template, right? Like a dynamic placeholder, right, for the content. If you're using WordPress, you can use something. There's a plugin, custom feeds or something like that. You can use that, right? So that's for the template creation. So yeah, basically that's like after creating your template, I think the other thing is just adding your unique meta tags and headers and all of that. You don't really need a tool for that. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Dara.
Wow, it's been some amazing couple of minutes. I say couple of minutes because time has just like naturally like breezed by. It's been, I think I was telling a friend of mine on the chat that this is actually advanced SEO, at least to an extent, because most of what we are saying are things that are peculiar to like search engine optimization specialist, and it's not just the general broad things. And I think it's been very, very much interesting listening to everyone speak, and I've really enjoyed the conversation myself. I have learned a lot. My notes are already feeling the impact of my writing so far. Thank you so much, Damilola, for staying true. Thank you, Adeniyi, for the brilliant contributions. Thank you, Jeremiah, for always giving us the content marketing side of things and perspectives to things. I think just even touching point on the EAT and the EAT and how write for your audience and then optimize SEO and the different technical SEO tips that have been shared here, and also to our amazing moderator Victoria, who has also brought in our expertise in terms of like the questions asked and also even navigating the whole conversation. I think it's been very, very much engaging. And to our beautiful audience, our amazing audience, I think at a point we had about 20 people joining us live, and I know people have like joined in, dropped out. So it's been amazing chatting with everyone. It's been amazing having conversations with everyone. So Masking Advanced SEO, we've come to the end of the session for today, right? And I just want to say thank you so much, Dami. Right, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for dedicating. I know the amount. I don't know the amount that ALU pays, but I know the caliber of payments that ALU does, and I know how much. If I'm going to pay you for the hours that you have spent like this, I know how my profit and loss balance at the end of the month will be shaking, right? But you've actually like given generously, and I appreciate every single contributions you made and the knowledge shared. Thank you so much. So our audience, thank you so much for joining in and staying so far. Please, you can just drop a comment on how you feel about the session, what you've learned. If you've learned anything, you can drop emojis about how you feel about the different speakers and give feedback. Drop emojis if you have been enjoying the session so far. You can just drop some fire emojis for our speakers so that we can get that reaction, and also drop your comments about the different sessions. So thank you, Adeniyi, also in Essential, and I think it's been nice to just seeing the camaraderie between Dami and Adeniyi in the whole conversations. How it seems as though you guys share like there are some points like you agree on, and there are some points that you say, hey, okay, let's look at it this way also. And I think that's one of the beauties of having different people with different experiences on board, so that we can actually have like a very well-rounded perspective on it. And thank you also, Jeremiah, for sharing your knowledge and also sharing your perspective. Something very, very, very much important that I think I need to mention during the session was the fact that when you mentioned the case study with Tears, like I think it was very good that you were able to bring thought leaders and thought experts into the mix, and then be able to now refine what was being shared into like into something that the algorithms will also be able to like adequately project to the right audience. I think that's like ingenious, and it's something that people should actually like be looking at doing. So once again, this session is brought to you by GrowthHackers Africa, and as I mentioned earlier, we are a community of growth operators across both early stage and late stage and growth stage companies within Africa. And we have been having these sessions. This is our third session just within this Q4, right? And this particular session is part of a larger content series, which is based on being able to identify different pillars that tech companies in the past decade or two in Africa have been able to use to like scale their growth. We started with social media, harnessing the power with our webinar, harnessing the power of social last month. this month we are focusing on SEO, and come 2025 we're going to be continuing this series, learning different pillars of growth. And if you're interested in joining us on this journey, you can basically just visit bit.ly/sign up to GHA. It's very simple. bit.ly/sign up to GHA. That's the link. So wherever you are, you can, if you're interested in joining the community, just there are a few questions we'll ask you, but then it's not really much of a big deal. It's something that you can definitely answer. Share your response, and in no time you'll be added to the community. Once again, it's been an amazing time learning. It's been an amazing time of fun and learning and mastering SEO. Right. I think one of the things that you can take away here is that, is it going to be good for you to go over this session again? There are specific things that probably you mentioned during the course of the session that you're not familiar with. You can note it down and actually go further and research about it. You can't necessarily do everything within the 2 hours period. It's an opening for you to be able to explore more and learn more. Right? And so take the time out. This YouTube replay will be available on our YouTube channel. It's available right now on our YouTube channel where you're streaming from, and it's not going to be leaving there. So you can always just refresh it again, once again, go over it over and over again. And if you have specific questions, you can reach out. You can join the community and reach out to us. We can field these questions to the speakers, and in their generosity, as much as they can share, they'll be willing to share. However, we are not promising anything, because we also understand and have respect for their time, and so we want to just place demand for their time without commensurate value also for the time. And as I mentioned, we're going to be continuing this series in January, right? So this is our last session on this particular project for this year, right? And in January we're going to be picking up nurturing vibrant online communities, right? So we're going to be looking at how exactly can growth managers leverage the power of community in their own growth strategy, right? We have seen different companies leverage this in the past, right? And it has brought immense success for them. So it's something that we want to be able to pull in guys, to bring in top guys who have actually been able to do this successfully, and get them to share with us their knowledge, share with us the lessons they've learned, share with us their success story. Once again, if you're interested in joining our community, you can just visit this link to join, and I'm quite sure that you would have an amazing time. Thank you guys for joining and staying till now. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Ciao.